even if I went back on the road to play, I would be 1/6 of the sound. Because everyone worked hard and created a sound that lasts forever. So that's what that is what I want to say. So Ibu and Kat formed Third World. They formed that. They came up with that. Who made the name was Clancy Eccles. He came up and said, "You guys is in the Third World. Call you Sons of the Third World," and the Sons got dropped.
Hello and welcome to Stargazing, a show that brings you up close and personal with your favorite stars of reggae and dancehall music, Jamaican popular culture, and people who've impacted society in a very big way. I'm Shaun Cain. We invite you to subscribe to the Stargazing with Shaun Cain YouTube channel, like and share the videos, and leave a comment. We also welcome our radio listeners of the musical side in the UK on Rex Radio, in the USA on Motif Radio and Viscosity Blend, in Canada on Reggae North Radio, and in Jamaica on Richie B Radio. In this edition of the show, we'll speak with music producer and former percussionist and drummer of the Third World Band, Willie Stewart.
Reggae music is celebrated the world over for its revolutionary lyrics and vibrant and contagious rhythms. The musicians who introduced reggae to a global audience include the band Third World. The group, which started in 1973 as Sons of the Third World, has managed to engineer a sound that made it so easy to identify its musical contributions. Amongst the architects of this distinctive sound is foundation member, drummer and percussionist Willie Stewart, who joined in 1975. Stewart toured the world with the band for more than 2 decades. He played drums at some of the most prestigious global events. The band also played at shows where well-known acts such as Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder performed. In addition to playing drums, Stewart has co-written some of Third World's signature songs. Among them are Love Will Always Be There and Committed. In 1997, while the band was in full stride, traveling from city to city and winning new fans in almost every corner of the world, a heartbreaking announcement by one member of the band stopped the group in its tracks. Foundation member Stewart had tendered his resignation. No one saw it coming. But that was not the only bombshell to hit the Third World Band that year. Keyboardist Michael Ibu Cooper immediately announced that he too was leaving the group. The drummer, who was the brother of the late Byron Lee of Dynamic Sounds, told the Stargazing with Shaun Cain show that his body was telling him it was no longer enjoying the experience of being on the road and playing music. He said he knew that even though the news of his departure had been unfortunate, he had to say goodbye. Although he was no longer a member of Third World, Stewart did not stop making music. He is the producer of Dwisdom's late 1980s to early 1990s smash First Real Love. He also produced Lieutenant Stitchie's Night and Day, among other popular records. Stewart's latest creation is the humanitarian song Have a Little Faith, which was written by himself and co-produced with Sean Wedderburn. The former Third World drummer assembled some of the biggest names in reggae music to bring the song to life. The Kingston-born drummer and music producer, who now resides in the southern United States, says all proceeds from the sale of the song will go towards rebuilding western and southern Jamaica following the ravages of Hurricane Melissa. J.C. Lodge, one of the vocalists on the Have a Little Faith track, was excited to be considered. Another contributor, Glenn Washington, is proud to be able to give back to his fellow Jamaicans.
Working on this Have a Little Faith project is so awesome and such a blessing to me. Oh my God. And to the people of Jamaica, I just want to say, faith can move mountains. Faith can make anything that is impossible possible. Just have a little faith.
Amongst the other artists performing on the record are Carleen Davis, Leroy Sibley's, Dwisdom and Jem Myers. Have a Little Faith by various artists, which was released on the 6th of February 2026, is available on all digital platforms.
Have a little faith. We've come so far, we turn back now. We've been through good and bad. So far.
Willie, it was good.
Hey man, everything is great, man. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me on the show. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. But you know what? You've only just returned to Florida after attending Cat Core's funeral in Jamaica. What was the feeling like, as you attended that funeral? What were some thoughts that went through your mind?
Well, a lot of thoughts. I was there for 3 days. First of all, hitting back Jamaica, after the devastation of the hurricane, seeing how the country has moved back into a certain position. But I never visited the coast, the west coast. I saw the vibrancy, and always when you go back to Jamaica, you feel at home. But under the circumstances, sometimes recently, I have to return for the sad situation of losing one of our brothers for like Bibu before 2 years ago, and I saw it go on. So when I heard about Cat and it happened, it's like what dawned on me right away is that life is so fragile, and as soon as it happens, you say, "Boy, Cat is not there." It is like a deafening silence beside the sadness, and you feel your heart move, but a silence that anything he did is now become immediately in that second memorabilia, memories. It's value. It's safe to all people who, if he played a guitar part, know it's precious because that's never going to happen. And it comes back to you when you see someone in an urn. You can say with all of that comes back to earth. Who are we? What does it take to be nice to someone? What does it take to offer help? That's what we're here for. When I see how people relate to see their respects to Cat, people were in tears, and seeing how people respected the overall group in general, Third World, the foundation members. Cat and Ibu formed the band, but the 6 foundation members who made it, they did such a thing that anywhere we go the world, they know that those 6 men, and it was really heartwarming. I see it in a different way. Why? Because when I left in 1997, it's like I could see myself being out of the band. I can hear the band for what it is, and I hear it like a layman. And sometimes I'm shocked to see the level of music the band could play. And I would say, are we miming or are we doing? Because I never know. We never really mime of anything. I think one time we had to do it for a TV show. And I'm saying, boy, we're playing, and boy, it was exceptional. So the love and the importance of what the work we've done over the last, what the Third World started in 1973. So that good for me. I mean, a couple years, 51 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, or 52.
A long time.
52, yeah. And maybe at least in 21 or 22 of those years,
Right.
the whole group of the 6 man them, and those classic albums,
that they produced.
we were blessed especially for that. And so it really struck me of saying, boy, imagine the work that we've done. Look at this. I am now seeing, and Cat is the youngest in the group. Cat, I am the second youngest. I'm 3 years older than Cat. Cat would have been April 6th, he would have been 70, and I'm 73. So it was a hard blow. And then when I went to the place that they had the celebration, Thursday they had the UWI, which was his send off. I prefer say that than the burial. It sounds so final, but his send off. It was great. The speeches, the whole thing was very well organized, and people could feel, and the talk and the comments were really good. The whole thing I think was good, and the turnout was fantastic. Then with the show, the day, it was really all the musicians, Gang, Steve Marley, Morgan Heritage, Maxi Priest, Scatterlights. But you see, it was so it would only be Cat would do that. Cat, when he decided to go, well, I know he didn't decide, but they decided to have it when there's Reggae Month.
Yep.
So all the acts are down there. All
Yes,
of them
all
come
of
for
them.
Reggae Month. So it's not something that this would have been the show of shows.
Show of all shows.
Yeah, because everybody was there and everybody was coming. So it
Yeah.
was good. And
But Willie, let me pull you back a little bit before we move away from the funeral. Did that get you to think about your own mortality?
yes, yeah, of course, of course. Well, I've always said that recently when it's happened, I said one foot, I'm at the departure lounge, you know. So, and what it makes me realize that how fragile life is. And also, it also makes me understand that you have to be able to know that to, tomorrow is a present for you. You live in the present, is a present. There's no guarantee of any tomorrow. So do the best every day. And I try and work at that as the best I could. Where I work with children and those things, I try and keep it. So being back now at the day, the place that they put called Ronnie Williams, we did, as I was about 23, a show called Explanations and Transmigration. We had to act it, and it was on 96 degrees. People said today is the greatest show they've ever seen in their life. And that place was so special. Why? Is because after that, a manager, American manager came and saw us there because let me tell you how it was. We didn't have any lights, right? We had an expert. He was Vish Wadanam Rachi, and he came from India, but he was like a scientist. So we wanted to make lights. We have to make the pole, the long, big iron pole. He got that made, and he bought paint pans, stripped them up, paint them, and then make sockets in them, and we used the 200 bulbs. He put about 80 up there to be lights. When you take about Miss Lou has a thing saying, take hand and make fashion. We did that. And then we had Hicklin. He was a psychiatrist in at the top psychiatrist in Jamaica. He came and we did it kind of as a theme. And we had this guy called he came from the art world where he taught us choreography and thing. And so they were training with us. And then we all came up with the ideas of how explanation would happen about the album and how it started. You was a little youth then, so you would know, Mr. K.
All right,
How,
we're jumping in.
how it started. How it started. Look here, picture this, how advanced we was. You're looking, say, third world. Everybody's looking to the stage. Am I correct? You're waiting on someone to come out straight. All of a sudden, you hear, Peanuts, Star, Glitter, Star, Peanuts. People start, I'll go for them gun because they know if it was invasion of youth coming into when them look, them see Bunny barefooted, them see me in khaki, this is someone else, and I come in, them say, whoa, but under the band that was the entry. It was a shock. People start, and then we start saying we start saying things and we go on stage. Believe me, we had about 40 shows at Ronnie Williams, and people at least I would say 200 people came to 35 shows so they could talk before they called it out the words to come. It was something else, but we didn't record it. We didn't put it on any video because it was very hard at the time to even videotape those things. But we should have had a cassette. So that was that. So that place brought back memories. And what came to me is that as I sat down to say 40 years ago then, we sat down here as youth. And that was a springboard because the next album was joined. So the manager that came on saw us there said, if they can do this, we have to sign them. And the next album was joined to Addis. Our hit was Now That We Found Love, and we came international. So it was so that the way it was done, that was all on my mind. I stayed with Richie. You know, Richie's not so well. So I sat down with Richie and we reminisced together and said, whoa, look at this. Back here, what would Bunny, God bless him soul, Boo, Carrot, and now Cat say, look here, did we know that we'd reach so far? And what is, I would ask, then I started asking myself, I'm here. God, you've saved me. Do I have more work to do? You know, what is it? Or do I have to tell a story? Because only the six of us can tell that story. Nobody else.
Stargazing with Shaun Cain brings you up close and personal with your favorite stars of reggae and dancehall music and people that have impacted society in a very significant way. We invite you to subscribe to the Stargazing with Shaun Cain YouTube channel, like and share our videos, and leave a comment as we bring you fresh content every week. The Stargazing with Shaun Cain show will inspire, educate, and bring out the best in you. Stargazing with Shaun Cain, up close and personal.
2x10 man, I move real fast, yeah? This is the boy Master Record, the girls them checker. You're watching the Stargazing show with Shaun Cain, up and personal. 2x10 man, I move real fast.
You know, you spent so many years with the band. You're running up and down with them. You travel the world with them, playing music. You on the tour bus and everything. What was that like? What was that experience like? How would you rate that experience?
Well, touring was fantastic because we couldn't wait to get to the instruments. Because when you get to instruments, first of all, when you reach foreign and you can buy, we're spending on the newest. People would buy the newest things. We're getting newest things. We're in touch with new records. We get so when we're there, we get to talk. You're on the bus. You're riding for me to be. Of course, like any other family. Sometimes you hear the same jokes for a while. After 5-6 years, sometimes you need to drive because it comes like school sometimes. No matter what, but there was always teamwork. If something happened to one of us, everybody was concerned. If trouble did thing, we would discuss things. You would think. So it's a family. It's no different from a family.
I thought you were going to tell me who was fighting and who was,
Yeah, man. Some man would cuss this man there, this and this. And then a joke happened. If anything was a joke on you, for 2-3 weeks, you can't stop hearing it.
I'm near the end of it.
You were near the end of it. And cause serious things we talk about, like issues of things would happen in America or in Jamaica, and we would reason as man to man, what can we do? And even discussion of certain things and concepts was done. Listening to music, we might watch the same movies, and every man will talk about it. Someone might like this and joke. Oh, we hear that joke already. But let's move on. But one thing, the one thing you could answer in the third world camp was that if we meet so much people, right? And you can't remember every person. So anybody who goes somewhere, you remember me? You reach New York, you remember me? Washington, you remember me? Oh, you're gonna remember something. You have to be so many like. So we had to argue. We had a thing that we say, what happened, Roy? Roy 1, Roy 2. So the people turn around. They are right, Roy 1, Roy 2, Roy 3, Roy 4. We just use the word Roy. It's easy for us to remember. We could remember the names of everybody. So this was one of our formulas to be able to, in a warm way of saying hello, greetings. Roy 1, Wagwan, Roy.
You know what? Third World wasn't your first coming, Willie. You were a part of Inner Circle with people like Prilly Hamilton. I think Carrot was a part of it too. Ibu and Cat. Yeah. And then you all decided to abandon ship.
Right. And also Bunny was it. Bunny was it.
What was going on in Inner Circle that you think, I don't want to be in this circle anymore. I want to go and be a third world.
Well, let me explain to you first what happened, because if you don't mind, how it started. Because what happened with Cat and Ibu and myself, we had our own bands. Ibu had a band called Rhythms, and he was in Mona. I lived in Ligony, which is about all in a similar area.
Yeah, not too far.
I lived in Ligony, and in Ligony, I had a band called, at school, I had a band called Visions. And then I lived, and Cat lived in Barbican, and he had Alley Cats. But Cat was young because we were about 13 when we started in a circle, and Ibu might have been 14. So I was the original drummer, and Ibu was the keyboard player. So that's how we started. And then we developed over time. And then we had this guitarist who was great, Richard Gray, because he came from the band Visions. And Richard Gray was really a phenomenal guitar player, very technical. And Cat was young, so Cat used to come. We used to play a place called Tunnel, and Cat would come to see how Richie play. So he would get a bounce. We get a bounce, he come and jam. And in them days, they say, hey, come get a bounce, man. And he would come up. And he was very promising. He would play, and he'd play back some things. And we were playing top 10 songs all the time. Like little ska and things. And he would love it. And we saw the development there. So when he left, it was obvious that Cat would take the place. And so three of us in the band. Now, one night, Bunny came from New York, and he sang Falling in Love in D. And Ibu said, this man can sing. When the man opened in big voice, the whole place turned up. Fall in love. We come with this voice. I said, wow. So by the next week, he was in the band.
Right,
And
right,
so also we had Bruce Ruffin in the band. You know, Bruce Ruffin from thing. He was also in the band too. And so what happened now? It was a great experience. And so four of us was in the band all over the place. We went, and Bonnie had to leave because he went back to New York to drive taxi and some other stuff. And then eventually what happened, because Byron Lee is my brother, and what happened is that Byron's drummer broke his foot. And so I was taking my O levels and I passed my screen to take my exam. And in the middle of that, he broke his foot. And so my mother thought that since his music I love, then Byron, I should go into Byron because he had dynamic sounds. And so this would make a whole difference by me going in there and being my brother. Then I would learn about the business. Not to my liking. I didn't want to go into it, which I was so happy within a circle. But at that junction, I had no choice. So I ended up playing with Byron Lee at 16, traveling, going to Miami, going to Miami and driving all the way to Canada to play 3 shows a night at Montreal, going to Iceland, traveling Europe with people like Ozzy Scott, who's an incredible saxophone, Lester Sterling, he went recently with Satellite. So I had all these top players, and I'm a rookie. And they guide me, hey, stop that. Believe me, the amount of direction I had as a drummer to play, well, it was great because that was my basic learning there. So after that, so that is why I had to leave. So I just wanted to give you that scenario. Later on, Prilly was of course, later on, Prilly went into Circles and Carrot. So there was 5 of us. The only man that was never went through the Circles, Ray, was Richie Taylor, the bass man. So what happened after that? Cat now decided, to what I understand, is that they wanted to go in a different direction. They want to play original songs. They want to be out there to do original. So that decision, Ibu said, boy, I'm on with it. Don't leave me out of it. And so they formed Third World. And I think Prilly had something to do with that also. And they came in and they moved over to Third World to start it.
Before that, would Inner Circle not allow you to play those original songs?
Well, in those days, we backed up people. I think they played Cherry O Baby, if you know that. I was in the band then. I think I'd left, but they would play Cherry O Baby. So I know we had some sessions with Derek Harriott, and we play backup and we play festivals and play original with that. But at that time, being a band, you know, is the artists mostly, because we as in a circle, we backed up live on stage at St. Andrew's School, Peter, Bunny, and Bob, and then we backed them up at State too. So we were more that backup. The bands wasn't really, even without singers, you would play more for dance, or you would open up at Carib. We had that show part, but in the recording, we would back up or we'd be hired for session. But we never had the money to go in, like I said, we're going to do it. And we didn't, we weren't creative that we were just, it was, to me, it was us learning as much. This was our musical lessons to get to know how to play, because how we would got so good, we could practice 10 new songs every week, and we would play it back, and while the disco was playing, we play back the same song, and the people never know the difference, and then we drop it by the thing, and so it made us have to be so proficient. So we were really, so it was a university of learning, and thing. So that was there then.
And then Third World started out now, and you like the journey in Third World?
Well, the journey in Third World, what happened is that Third World, then when they moved and started, and I was always in touch with them, even though I had leave the music business after leaving Byron Lee, and I started to work with my brother as sales manager. So I was doing sales all over and thing, and I was in touch with them in fact, I listen to this, I used to look at promotion from my school days. So me and this guy who we work with, he was a teacher, I'm headmaster. So we decided to put on a show at Sheridan. So we hired Generation Gap, and we hired Third World. So Third World was in that transition to move off of the dance scene and become original. But you ever hear the wrong time, the wrong venue? All right. So I never know, because they were popular. So I never know, but this, for what the show was, it wasn't a show. It was directly dance. So Generation Gap come and lick it, man, everybody dance. Then Third World come dress up in suits, lights with everything. And it never went so well because the people wasn't ready
for that.
For that. It was a wrong time, wrong venue. And believe me, I couldn't believe it. I said, boy. But they continued.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, why would they continue when after such a big shock? to the system.
because they know Jamaica State. They knew that this was trial and error because they knew that they were in getting something. They knew that Jamaica wasn't ready for that. Yeah, because they didn't have no original records out there. They were more show. They were playing songs that were great, but people want to dance. You understand? And they put one or two new things in, but it was recorded, so people never know it, you know. And people are saying, "Why? What's this? It's a new concept." But this is where you stay with your guns and keep it because by billing, you will go through. So later on, now they went to England, right? And in England, that's where they were signed. And Cornell was the drummer then. First of all, Barovia was the drummer in the start. A guy called Colin Leslie played bass, and Barovia we call Vido. He was a drummer that was around, and they practiced at Vero, and I was practicing. Barovia left, and Colin Marshall from Tomorrow's Children came in, and then the bass man now, Colin left, and then Prilly knew Richie, but Richie was a rhythm guitarist, excellent. He played rhythm, and whatever Prilly said to him, listen, you have to come play bass.
Right.
And Richie took the handle and played bass and did a great job. So he came in the band. So they have Carl and them, and then they went to England, and then they went with a friend of ours that they knew, put them up, and all of them had to stay in England in a living room. You know,
Is it Alan Sturdy?
Alan Sturdy, man. You know, Alan never expected because what happened? There was a gentleman from, if I don't remember his name, I soon tell. He had Epiphany Club, and he was managing them and working with them. And he said, okay. And he said, Alan, this band is coming. Put them at your house. Alan said, boy, I never expected. But he said it was so. And then Richard Scott, who was into music, a collector of and love reggae music, said we can do this. Because I talked to Alan up to 3 weeks ago. Alan said, boy, I would have tried if Scott, so there were partners in it. If Scott never said, boy, we can do this. And Scott knew what he was doing because he was in it and he was excited. So Scott and Alan became the managers and they started to work. And I think Mr. B's club, they played that. And Ibu gives a story that, boy, you have to play at this club. You're not getting anything. You're getting maybe a little or nothing. And you have to go play in the day for lunchtime. If you were good, you come back in the night and you get a chance to play again. And what you got was like some ridiculous amount of money. Nothing, you know? So they played and people liked them. And when they played at Mr. B's clubs, Chris Blackwell saw them and was very impressed and signed them. And so they started to record, and that's how the Green album came, Third World. Now, when they came back, we heard all the success. It was great. Every time in the news, because they opened for Bob Marley. You see No Woman to Cry, when he did it live. Third World opened 4 shows. Manchester, I think, they were the opening act. I guess Bob said after a while, after 4 shows, hey, get these guys off now. Enough is enough. And then now they came back to Jamaica. When they came back to Jamaica, they played at Epiphany. All right, and then they played at UWI the Saturday, the Wednesday play Epiphany. Saturday, I don't know what. Anyway, apparently Carner left. Now, this is Christmas, 1975. That's happening then, because remember, they started in 1973. So Christmas now, the Carner left, and they was looking for drummers, so they start doing auditions. They were thinking of one. I saw Richie in Ligony Plaza. I said, Richie, what? He said, no, man, what? I said, you don't hear? I said, hear what? Him say, boy, a drummer left, you know, Carl I said, what? Him say, yes. Him say, boy, and the man him say, Ibu and Kat said, the only man that could come in this band is Willie Stewart without an audition. I said, what? And him said, boy, yeah, man. I said, well, where Boo live? Him said, down the road by the crossroad for the Prime Minister, Linstown Crescent or something. I said, yeah, man, let me go see him. So I go say, what, Boo? Say, what, man, boy, we just talk about you, boy, because with the drummer was going pick. Is one that kind of, I did train him too, because it was in Happiness. Him said, kind of play like you, so we're going, because we know we couldn't get you. I said, listen, him said, well, I know we couldn't pay you, you know. I said, but did I ask for any money, eh? Him said, no. I said, you didn't ask. I said, well, I can do it. Wow, him become, him called Cat, Willie's on. Him said, what? So I had 2 weeks to practice, New Year's night, and we played at Aracabessa, Baskerville, Playboy Club. Within 5 weeks after that, we were touring that Green album in America, Prilly and everybody. We were touring the whole of America. We lived in San Francisco for about 6 months, and we toured the rest. We went to LA. We played with Country Joe and the Fish. We played at universities. That is what got us back now into America, because that's what people thought, that because we lived there, those who saw us play thought we were an American group.
That's why I can't stop touch her now. I fall in love with the touch you know. Oh no, Father Knockins boss. Watch you now. You're now in tune to Shaun Cain and the Stargazing Show.
Yo, a relevant boss I represent for the Stargazing Show with your host, Shaun Cain. No, know it got already. Shaun, drop it thing no man. Oh, go. Watch it pray. Boom.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Amoy, the Lightworker Soul Rebel, and you're watching the Stargazing with Shaun Cain show. It's your time to shine. Keep it locked. Mwah.
In 1997, you decided that you probably had nothing more to offer to.
Yeah, but before you said, Mr. K, let me just ask something. I want to clarify this, because the founders of Third World is definitely Kat and Ibu. We are the foundation, because what I'm saying is that they formed the band, and so fine. But what happened is that who made the band is a 6-man today. The 6-man them came with a sound and energy that can never ever be replaced on record, never. And each time we lost one, it became as if even if I went back on the road to play, I would be 1/6 of the sound, because everyone worked hard and created a sound that lasts forever. So that's what that is what I want to say. So Ibu and Kat formed Third World. They formed that. They came up with that. Who made the name was Clancy Eccles. He came up and said, "You guys is in the Third World. Call you Sons of the Third World," and the Sons got dropped, and it became Third World. But he was responsible for calling us that name.
Okay, well, seeing that you clarified all that, and we got that.
But sir, with due respect, I clarified not for you, but for general, so they know. It is so important that they know the faces. It's like Kentucky Chicken. The faces of the 6-man is what made Third World today. Why even the new group that's out there can even play on the heads of those men, because they had something, and the sound that they had. There is no other sound. It's like a fingerprint. When we came together, it was a magic. Yes.
I get that, sir. And I understand that lots of people are familiar with the story, more familiar than I am with the story. They'll be like, well, how can Willie say that? Because it was this. So it's good that you clarified it, so people know that you're not stealing anybody's, joy or any sunshine or raining on anybody's parade or anything. You're giving everybody's their due, as it should be. But then in 1997, you decided that you had nothing more to offer.
Well, what happened is that after a while playing, and something happened in the sense that when I went to Africa in 1996, we are playing and everything is going on great. There are 10,000 people in Uganda, everybody thing, and we're playing, and everybody's enjoying themselves playing and thing. And midnight come. I mean, this is why I come like a story. It's just fairy tale. And there was a song that Bonnie did called "Stand By Me," which everybody know, but he did it in reggae. And this is not to do anything to do with Bonnie. It's just that the song was playing, and Papa San was involved. And when Papa San sing, it's like me, I move the energy. And when Bonnie started to sing, it's like I felt like a truck on top of me. Nothing to do with it was just like. And then when I start to play again, Papa San, I start to go faster. And then when Bonnie sing, and it's not to do with Bonnie singing, and I won't get it wrong. Bonnie's the greatest singer on earth, but it was like someone paused in time to tell me, your work with Third World done. You have another mission. And when I play again, and it happened, I said, what it is? It was like a truck on me. And I'm saying, this is a weird phenomenon. And I think about it. And it's like what I got is that I have to move on. There's something else for me to
do. Willie, did anybody else pick up on that out of sync vibe?
No, because it was to me is while I'm playing. Because remember, I'm playing behind. So I never miss a beat, but it's something just happened to me. I could never explain it. It's like, and so even if I had other things that would maybe change and you think about it, this made my mind up. Said definitely, it's time for me to go personally.
Did you miss it? Did you ever feel like going back?
Going back, I miss third world, playing the music. I missed it because music was really third world is my heart, was my life. Third world, what that sweat we put in it, every song we did, every thought, every concert. It was like I live it. It's my family, and so it was very hard to make a decision like that. And it wasn't that I was going to go into Stevie Wonder or Stevie Wonder's band. It was nothing like that. It's something that you step into deep water, and it's a matter of faith. It's a matter of listening to your inner being and realizing. I know why now why I left more than any time else, but there's sometimes you get a call. It says when you get a certain call, and you have to you decide. And this was it. I couldn't. It was like everything. Your body made up, the mind, spiritual, and you know that it's time to move on.
No point trying to hang on. It just wouldn't.
No, it was. So what happened is that after that, but I didn't tell the band then. That's what I felt. So remember, this is me experiencing.
Kind of switched off from the band.
Yeah. No. So that came to me. So then our next thing was we took a break, and we I think it was in March. We start up in March because we're doing other things during the time. In March we were touring now, and I gave him my resignation, and we were starting a LA tour, and I said, okay, think about it, let's do the 3 weeks of it and think about it. And I thought about it, and when I came back, I said, no, I still have to go, and I said I would have helped them. I said whatever I have to do, I would do it so that they can have a smooth transition. So
while you did that, Willie, you pulled Cat with you as well. Not Cat.
Ibu. Well, I would say I pull him, but everybody, I would say I pull him because I was shocked because Ibu drive everywhere with me. Ibu went everywhere talking to me to convince me, Willie, you sure you want to do this? Because I shared it. Well, everybody, when I announced it, everybody knew. So me and Ibu drove everywhere because I think he wanted to sit down and find out reasoning, because we're always reasoning. And he says, boy, well, why not? Can we have been the rating? Can we do? I said, I just feel I have to stay with my decision. I decided I have to go. So he don't say nothing to me. So when I said that, so we had the last meeting now, and I said, well, gentlemen, I'm not going through. Ibu said, well, me a step too. I said, step? What do you mean step? Ibu said, well, I'm going to have to take a break. And Kat said, wow, what? And that's how it went.
I tell you what,
And we're supposed to play 2 shows, one in Barbados and one in the Grill. That would be the 2 last shows I play on. I have the recordings of the Barbados. Because we're good musicians, we played good, but spiritually, when you look at us, you know it was a divorce going to happen.
the relationship was.
And we never reached to do the Grill, the goodbye show, which was supposed to happen. We never did it. Because, going breakdown, a man must get vexed and
It's sometimes
because it's like a marriage, I guess,
you need some time for wounds to heal and people to.
Yes, yeah. So that didn't happen, man. So
we're going to explore this a little bit more, but we've got to take a break. You're tuned to the Stargazing with Shaun Cain show, and we're speaking with music producer and former percussionist and drummer of the Third World Band, Willie Stewart. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Amoy, the light worker soul rebel, and you're watching the Stargazing with Shaun Cain show. It's your time to shine. Keep it locked. Mwah.
Silver Box, I'm there represent for Stargazing with Shaun Cain. And you know I'm represent artists' life story, which include joy and pain. Check out him YouTube channel fully.
Stargazing with Shaun Cain brings you up close and personal with your favorite stars of reggae and dancehall music and people that have impacted society in a very significant way. We invite you to subscribe to the Stargazing with Shaun Cain YouTube channel, like and share our videos, and leave a comment as we bring you fresh content every week. The Stargazing with Shaun Cain show will inspire, educate, and bring out the best in you. Stargazing with Shaun Cain, up close and personal.
Yes, give thanks, people. You don't know, so this is the wordical poet himself, the lyrical poet. Yeah, man, wise words. And you're tuned into Gazing with the Stars, Stargazing. Find out more about your local reggae artists. Find out how they became artists. Find out what makes them tick. Find out how they was able to write these kind of hit songs. Stargazing, Gazing with the Stars with Shaun Cain, straight from London, England. You get me, mate? Oh, bloody hell. Did you get that? Gazing with the Stars, wise words.
Welcome back. You're tuned to the Stargazing with Shaun Cain show, and we're speaking with music producer and former percussionist and drummer of the Third World Band, Willie Stewart. Willie, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Sir Cain. Thank you.
Willie, you know what? You had contributed so many songs to the Third World catalogue. And I'm not sure this is public knowledge, because I don't know how many people really read the credits and see who wrote this, who produced that and that. So talk us a little bit through some of those songs that you are personally responsible for.
Well, I think one of my first songs was in the early stage, in the early albums. We all co-wrote stuff because when we came up with songs, we wrote it together. And some songs when we started, we called them the 3 C's, Cooper, Clark, Core. Those were the singers and writers also. So they started heavily in our beginning. And so I got in it. I think Richie and myself stuck to keep getting our beats together and making sure we're accurate. That was our job. And so later on now we got into writing. Love Will Always Be There. Love Will Always Be There. That's when I started to really go into full writing. And then one of my other top singles was Committed.
Yes.
Right. And how I get committed was I was running in Ocherias. Mm-hmm. We recorded at IRFM in Ocherias, so we stayed there in the morning with exercise. So and funny enough, at Cat's celebration, I saw Maxi Priest, and I had to tell him the same story. And I said, "No, due respect to you, sir. No disrespect to you and Sly and Jeffrey Chung. It was an excellent production." But I was running and I'm thinking and I'm hearing on jukebox, "I just want to be close to you," do all the things, And I'm saying, boy, and I'm running, and I'm saying, but no woman want to hear it close. They want to hear that's good. But what you do when you get close to them? What you gonna tell them something? After a while, you get to know them. They want something. You have to be committed. And I'm saying, committed. I'm committed. And when I'm running and I listen on, and I'm hearing the jukebox. And I said, well, after committed, what happened? And I said, I've got my life invested. And I start singing. And I run straight to the studio. And Stephen Stewart, who was co-wrote with me, he was on the keyboards. I said, I have a song, come, let's go together. And we started to work on it. And that's where I came up. I only come up with the chorus and 2 verses. Right. But for what I got myself writer's block, I couldn't come up with the 3rd verse. And when we went to New York to finish it up, Buddhas came with it one time. Boom! It was like it has come, and that's how all of us wrote it. So that was my biggest song.
You felt it, the conclusion of the song. You felt it like it was in sync with what you were feeling and what.
Yeah, man. For me, did it. You just know it clicked because I put things together that wasn't right. It's like I got a writer's block. I was gonna put about the bridge and put about the verse first, but the Buddhas come and say, "Here, boom, sit here," and it was like perfect. It fit like a glove. So that was that,
But was there any more then? You got the committed one there.
We co-wrote Reggae, I'm Ambassador DJ, I'm on that. I'm on, I think I might have been on Lagos Jump. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them I'm on as co-writers. So that list is, I'll have to go and look at it. Let's go be 20 or 30, 20 some songs. But I'm talking about the ones that I initiated, we some of the instrumentals we had very much in those songs, that we did and worked on. More than 96, I think, was more Cat, Annie Boo, and Bonnie. They were more the writers, and a few we joined in and helped.
And you helped, or you contributed too. But although you're not a member of Third World anymore, one would have thought that, Willie would just put on the drumsticks and everything, come up the drums, and then just probably go skiing or something like that. But you haven't stopped, because you produced music with Wisdom, and I think one of our big tunes, you were right behind it. First Real Love. I mean, if I get that right.
Yes, that was First Real Love. What happened is that I've always had a studio recording. I live in Red Hills where I lived, and I had my own studio. So even in between breaks, I would be always recording or something like that. And some of the songs that I record was with that year. My brother, God bless his soul, is gone now. Paul Pablo believed in wisdom, and when she came, she had this song. And I was just getting a new board called the MG 1212, the one that Sly have. And I was putting together the Sunday. And he said, listen, you have to listen to this. And when I said, it's a hit, I said, this is a great song to do. And I called Neville Hines, and he came up with his keyboards. And we played it live. I had a D drum so I could play, and we played it live into thing. And then he mixed it, we put it out. And because I was so busy with Third World, I couldn't monitor the record as I'd like to, because I went on tour and come back. And that became the song. My First Real Love stayed 6 weeks on the but JR charts. Today is rated as one of the top trees of all songs out of Jamaica. And she did an incredible job. People thought that it was they thought it was Dolly Parton.
Right.
And then they also thought it was Chevelle Franklin, and they thought it was a foreign group doing it.
Yes.
They didn't know it was local. It's one time, and when she was in the bus driving one day, Wisdom, and when she was on the bus driving, and this lady, everybody in the bus is singing a song, and tears come to her eyes because she's sitting down there, and people didn't even know she's singing.
It was her, and she was the one entertaining everybody.
No, she was. It was playing on the.
No, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
And yeah, and then everybody got excited, and she said, "Wow, they're all here. They don't know. They realize that I did it." That's why later on, about 20-something years later, I got the video done. I released it properly, because when you do songs, it's more demo, checking it out.
Right.
And so I did it. We did a video. I know it's up, and people can get it now. So if they want to, they can go online, write down My First Real Love, beautiful video. They can buy it. And then I've done a song. I've written my first song I ever wrote was with her name was Cynthia Slosh.
Yeah. Oh, which one was
It was called
so a really impressive catalog, you know.
I can when I played it, I did a show, and it mashed people and mashed it. It was it was unbelievable. Loving is what I've got. Is what the name is. I need to share it with someone who will care for me. That also on Stitchy, I worked with thing and Stitchy song called Night and Day.
The Night that I Want to Be With.
It was yeah, that was part of it. I have some interest in, because with my daughter and Brownie, Glenn Brownie, wrote with Bloodfire. Are you really ready? Are you really ready? Boris has a song called I Want Your Love Inside of Me, went number 2 and thing. That's my song again, that me and Steven Stewart, right? You know.
All them tunes that weird.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
People, the other day I did a radio show. When they start playing, the woman said, I've been looking for that track. I've been looking, man. I can't believe you have it. It's like when I do things again, because mostly when I do stuff, you test it out. And most of the stuff that I've done with Third World, it come on the Third World. So now, even with a new song, I Have a Little Faith that I wrote here, that comes now. It's the first time I'm releasing international on my own name, Willie Stewart and Friends. Because all the time, so I have to be changed now, get my Wikipedia for Willie Stewart Friends, because I've achieved from 1997. There's so much other things that I achieved. I have to put it down,
So do you get money for those things still, Willie?
For royalties for Third World, you mean?
But the songs you wrote on the Third World, where you got the credit.
Yes. That was set up. We get our royalties every year. Whether because all those albums what sell, you can't see collectively and individually we own those records.
Right.
So, but in the sense of it, when we signed, so we have all interest in all those great hits, which was fair. Because all of us were equal then. Yes.
That's good. And only recently you produced and released Have a Little Faith with some names like Glenn Washington, Wisdom. Well, you draw back fair again.
Yes.
Dutch was in there. Colleen Davis. I mean, really, this song is nice. Where did that vibe come from, and the thought and the idea and the concept? Really
well, before I had recorded it before as a ballad. Let's say a demo. Yeah. I had Richie Stevens on it. I had from Alfie and Donna. Alfie from Alfie and Donna on it. I had Colleen Davis and Prilly. They were the ones that sang first and thing, and it was a ballad. And then I decided to sit down, and 20-something years later, when I heard the storm was so devastated, and I was in Gilbert, and it was a trip. And when I heard this storm was coming, I knew it was serious. I felt it in my gut, and I said, "Boy!" And when it happened, it was like I was involved in the storm. It was like I felt tired, nervous, I don't sleep for about 2 days. And I said, boy, what can we do? I see all the aid, all the coming in, the planes coming in. And I said, boy, look at all that. My wife said to me, boy, look at that. If a set of musicians should come together to do something. And it dawned on me, I said, what's up? I am a musician. I'm a songwriter. And so I start to work on it. I said, boy, what can you use? I start working on ideas in my head. And then the gentleman called Steve Slane from Digital One Recordings and publisher called me and said, boy, we should probably do a song. And maybe he has Florida Songwriters Association. And so maybe we can all get together. But I said, I have a song. You want to listen to it? He said, yes. When he listened, he said, this is the song. But it was a song. Yes, we know it could work. But I had to make it special for Jamaica.
So you had to remodel it.
Yeah, I had to recut it, record over. So I called, and who is great at that is Robbie Lynn. From day one, Robbie Lynn played with Sly and Sly Robbie, and he played with Peter Tosh. He could make records that if he was to do it in reggae, he could capture everything. You know, some people do it in and miss out half of the things, the keys, everything. But he's the man that can put back it. So he did a sample rough of it with keyboards, and then we can put the rest, the drums, everything else. And so after that, I wanted to get strings. So I went to University of Miami and got a setup from the Henry Mancini Orchestra, first orchestra. We got some the younger ones that are expert. And I had someone write the charts and put over it. And then I had to look for our vocal, use some of our vocalists to do the guide vocals, harmonies, so we get that. And I got a person called Alicia Marie. Her name is Marie Thompson. She used to sing with the Wailers. Very good. So I had to do the pilot. And then I said, who can I go for it? Who can I get? And I said, okay, I was talking to Leroy Siblis. And I said, I sent the song, the track that we did. And he said, count me in, I'm in. And so forth, and so all of them, because everybody donated the time for this song. From day one, all money is going to go straight to Jamaica through GEM. We negotiated with them now, and see, and everything, 100%, all the royalties is going to go. And we hope that we know the song is powerful. We know the song is world recognition because everybody can feel it right now. It's called Have a Little Faith. And it starts out saying that you can make a difference in someone's life. You can make the babies smile, babies cry, be a smile. You can be the sunshine in someone's life. Just have faith. And it is a simple song, but so far we're getting tremendous feedback from it.
All it takes is a little faith. You got to have faith. Yeah. It'll be alright. Have a little faith. We've come so far. Turn back now. We've been through good and bad. So far. Ooh, somehow. We've made it. And we know how.
Because I've played it on my show a few times. I just really love the vibe and the choir in the background and that kind of the harmony is just really good. It reminds me of We Are the World, that kind of vibe where everybody's giving all these big singers, these talented people, and they can their vocals and just build a good vibe, just send a message out there. Mm-hmm.
But if you have to do a song to me like that, if you use and say Melissa, you've limited it. The song will last like Christmas, it's done. But if you do a song where the world can recognize and see themselves in it, then it will sell. And we hope that, because to pay off that bill that we have for Melissa, it's going to take years, maybe 7, 8, maybe 10 years to be, if we can. And so you need a song that stands as a billboard. And I know that this song is a song because next 9 years, people use it as an anthem. Some people say, wow, they will play every morning because this is going to cheer them up, give them a chance to get ready to go work because it's a new day and I have the faith to reach there. So you have to do one song that help the people of Jamaica and it gives them heartfelt. It makes them want to continue, and then you have something for the world can relate to. So
For
they can,
humanity.
yes, for humanity. We played the Black Music Festival, 60, 70,000 people. Michael Jackson was there. Stevie introduced us as, boy, these are my brothers and thing. And after that, he said, watch it, we have a song for you. And boy, we were on our way to CBS Sinus, who was on our way to England because we had Dancing on the Floor was number 9. If we toured, we'd have a number 1 there. But God would have it that when we made a decision to pull up and do another album, You've Got the Power, Tried Your Love. Plain as Ghost was on the Tried Your Love. So we played the stage with some great acts. We've played very great venues, and it has been a wonderful, it's been a wonderful time of playing and meeting artists. Unbelievable.
And then you met the Grammy Award winning Paul Douglas. I mean, I would imagine he's your longtime friend, Pablo, isn't it?
And when I grew up, Pablo was, I think Pablo was just like a younger than me, but he was a drummer to see and to go with, in a sense of to learn. Humble and everything. And he would play with Boris, and I would get a little jam. And the man was always encouraging. He's a great drummer. He knows what to play at the time. A lot of people don't realize how much songs he has played. He was a session master for so much years, and so much of the hits. I mean, he was telling me, Sly, the other day, he was listening to a song, and he said to Sly, boy, that sound good, Boy, sound actually like the original. And Sly say, I sampled you.
Oh my word, Sly.
You played, yeah, man. And Sly tell him sampled him. So, he sampled him because it was him playing it, and he sampled it on the record, And so, so he's an excellent drummer, excellent person, and a full-rounded musician,
And in addition to that, Willie, I know you're always organizing events. Hey, what
Yes.
about any of your events that you organize?
Well, I have a thing called a show called Rhythms Africa, where I have a non-profit for, Embrace Music Foundation, 501c3 in America here, and we work with kids. Our mission is to keep music in schools. So what I do is I have a program called Rhythms Africa, which shows a journey of music from Africa, Northeast, West, South, to Brazil, to New Orleans, to Puerto Rico, Cuba, Jamaica, Trinidad. And so all the things we're showing that Africa had influence on all this music. So we're playing modern music in the different styles. Like in Africa, we talk about Fela and how Afrobeat come, and we're playing it. We talk about Miriam Makeba, trumpeter Hugh Masekela from South Africa, and and Miriam Makeba from South Africa. We talk about all these artists, and we play it. And we play other African songs with the drums. But the drums have 30 kids that are trained, and they're playing start off with African rhythms, and then they go into Cuban style rhythms, soca, all different things. But when you see the children and the proficiency how they play, it freaks out people, because they say, no, in 30 hours they couldn't do this. And these are non-players. And they're playing with an international band. Last year we brought Ken Booth, and we brought Demola, the violinist. It was unbelievable,
So how can the public get involved with these things? Then what? You just look out for when
Yes. No, man. For the show that we're coming, next show is going to be April 18th and 19th at the Miramar Cultural Center. 18th, 19th at the Miramar. So they can tell, if you don't even live, if you're in England, you can still tell your friends, you can tell your friends in Florida that they can come to the show. They won't regret it. It's always beautiful. And they can see it, usually if they go to my YouTube channel and subscribe, William J. L. Stewart. William, one word, William J. L. Stewart, Stewart. And you can like it, subscribe, and you're going to see everything, because things go up on there where we're playing, we send up on there, they can see all the history of what we do. I'm on Facebook, William Stewart. They can like it, make a friend, and I can put it through. So it's all on those platforms. I have a Google page too, William Stewart and Friends. So they can also go look at that and make a comment. And this song is the first for our releasing called Have a Little Faith. That's going out and things. So please support the record, because every time you do, it's going to go to Gem,
But is that available on digital platforms? And
every platform. 200 is available on 200 platforms right now. All in Amazon, the Spotify, the Tidal, you name it. Everyone. It's on YouTube too, because don't forget the streams, you can get it. Have a Little Faith.
You've got some really powerful people there with you, Willie. Well, Willie, it was really nice talking to you and sharing this story. I know we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg, but you know what? This what you've given us is really interesting. I mean, I could just sit back and I could just listen. In fact, most of the time, that's what I'm doing. Because it's such a touching story, such a strong story. You've been to places, you've met people, you've impacted people's lives, and you're still going, still doing your thing.
Still, yeah, man. Thank you, and thank you for the listeners that are on it, and keep the good work that you're doing, because communication is everything now today. Communication is everything, and I look forward to coming back again. So, okay.
Definitely. So as soon as we get some more time, then we'll definitely be talking. But Willie, this is a book I've written, I've put together. It's called Reggae Larger Than Life, and it's a fun and games book, and it's a fun way of learning about reggae and the journey of reggae and who did what, where, when, and how and why to make reggae great. So
Right.
just to kind of raise the profile of the book or keep it in people's minds, I generally select, every time I've got a guest on, select 2 questions to kind of just challenge you a little bit. But I know this will be a challenge for you because,
It might be very much a challenge because I don't know everything.
that's what you think. I was looking for the hardest one and I thought, you know what? I don't know. I'll go for this one and see where it goes, So the first question, Willie, it says, name the singer who describes life's burdens and trials as many rivers to cross.
Jimmy Cliff.
See, I was even going to give you options, but you didn't even need that. All right, let's take the next one, the second and last one now. It says, which longtime friends and famous musical taxi gang sped off with a Grammy Award for the best reggae album in 1999? The options, Black Uhuru, Sly and Robbie, Toots and the Maytals, Burning Spear, and Jimmy Cliff.
All right, you said which what? Say you said something. Which what?
Which longtime friends and famous musical taxi gang
Sly and Robbie through Black Uhuru.
It's Sly, yeah, through Black Uhuru. Sly and Robbie.
Right. And Slapman Black Uhuru was the friends.
Was the friends. Well, I just had them because I know Sly and Robbie were friends, and I know they're the taxi gang. So I just put them on the taxi gang.
So I think that year it would have been Black Uhuru got that award. But they I'm nearly sure, but you have to tell me. You have the answer.
Yes, the answer is Sly and Robbie.
Right.
Sly and Robbie. Yeah, those are the two, the taxi gang from the famous taxi rhythm.
Right, so it's them, Sly and Robbie.
It's sped off with the Grammy, yes. So this is kind of, how the questions are done. And kind of, getting you laughing a little bit, play up on words and that sort of thing.
Great. That's important.
Yeah, to get people to kind of learn a little bit about, because I just thought that if it was something we have to cram people have to cram their minds with lots of facts, chunks of facts here and there, and people might just think, I can't be asked to read that. But with this kind of playfulness to it, I just thought that's a nice way to rope people in.
That's great. I hear you.
Right, so the questions we're taking from this book is Reggae Larger Than Life, the ultimate reggae music fun and games book, currently available on Amazon. It's also available in Jamaica, at the bookshop at the University of the West Indies Mona campus, also at Ashby's Pharmacy, 160 Old Hope Road in Kingston. It's also available at it's Angel's Book and Variety Store in Spanish Town. So Willie, it was really good spending some time chatting with you and understanding your story, man.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And God bless you, and God bless the program and the listeners, sir. Thank you.
Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of the Stargazer with Shaun Cain show. Our special guest was former percussionist and drummer of the Third World band, William Willie Stewart. We do invite you to join us for the Stargazer with Shaun Cain show, the musical side, every Sunday at 10 a.m. to 12 midday, British Standard Time on Rex Radio in the UK. From the USA on Motif Radio and Viscosity Blend, from Canada on Reggae North Radio, and from Jamaica on Richie B Radio. Until next time, this is Shaun Cain saying, thanks for joining us. Catch you soon.